Ian Fleming, born in London in 1908, was an English naval intelligence officer who oversaw several espionage missions during the Second World War. He came from a wealthy family and would occupy several occupations before eventually becoming famous for authoring the series of James Bond spy novels after the war. In order to compose the adventures and tactics of James Bond, Fleming would rely on his own experiences as well as people that he had encountered during the war. One such encounter took place in August 1941 at the Casino Estoril in Portugal. Fleming watched as double agent Dusko Popov used MI6 funds to bet against a wealthy adversary who was fleeing Nazi Germany.
$40,500,000 all in.
Raise all in.
115 million in the pot.
Though Fleming has denied Bond being based on any one person in particular, it is suggested that Dusko Popov actually is the main influence behind the character. Popov gained an infamous reputation throughout the war for being a double agent playboy who conducted several missions across Europe and America. He worked as a spy for both the British intelligence agency MI6 as well as the German intelligence organization, the Abwehr. Popov was born in Serbia in 1912 to a wealthy family and would have the privilege of attending prestigious schools and earning a PhD in law, eventually starting his own law firm. He spoke fluent German and made several high-profile connections in Germany, all while maintaining a secret disdain for the Nazis. At the beginning of the Second World War, an old friend approached Popov with the proposition of working for the German spy agency, the Abwehr. Popov was surprised by this offer, but was reminded that one of the best ways to beat a team was to be part of it. He was vetted extensively by the Germans and was eventually found to be trustworthy. Popov began his espionage training with the Germans and was given the codename Ivan, all while harboring an allegiance for the Allies. Once completing his training and being cleared for missions by the Nazis, Popov traveled to London and expressed his interest in helping Britain to defeat the Axis powers. Though skeptical at first, British authorities eventually led Popov to the Office of Passport Control, which was the cover at the time for the British intelligence agency MI6. He was again vetted to determine his trustworthiness, and after passing was given the codename Tricycle. Popov would go on to be a key player in defeating the Nazis in the war. He would be supplied with questionnaires by the Germans, requesting a variety of sensitive British information. The English would then give Popov misinformation to report back to Germany with, in order to keep the Nazis satisfied, and clueless to the actual operation of the Allied forces. Popov's biggest contribution to the war, however, was his ability to convince the Germans that the Allied invasion of Europe would take place in Calais, France, and not Normandy. This diverted much of Hitler's forces away from the beaches where British and American troops would land, and save hundreds of lives. Miraculously, Popov was able to maintain the trust of the Germans, all while feeding them lies and sabotaging their operations. There was, however, one nation that Dusko Popov could not seem to gain the trust of. In August of 1941, Popov was dispatched by the Abwehr to America to gain information and to establish a network of spies in the States. He was given ample funds and a questionnaire of desired information. On this questionnaire were requests for detailed information regarding the defenses of the naval base at Pearl Harbor. After arriving in America, Popov went to the FBI to warn them of enemy interest in their defenses. However, Director J. Edgar Hoover, who was known for having a distrust of foreigners, questioned Popov's loyalties and refused to take the information seriously. One of the biggest parallels that connect Dusko Popov to James Bond was his infamous playboy lifestyle. Dusko was known to live lavishly and enjoy the company of numerous female companions, all while conducting missions for both the British and German governments. Not long after learning that the FBI was not going to cooperate with his American mission, Dusko proceeded to use the rest of his time and the money given to him by the Nazis to party with American celebrities and ski the slopes of the fashionable Sun Valley ski resort. He also famously had a passionate affair with Hollywood actress Simone Simon, who he had met in Paris before the war. When Hoover learned of Dusko's continued activities in the United States, he was furious and threatened to detain him if he didn't leave the country immediately. By the time the war was over, Dusko was one of the only individuals to have ever been awarded both the Order of the British Empire as well as German Iron Cross. It was exploits such as this that would eventually inspire a retired Ian Fleming to sit down and write the first lines of a novel featuring a charming yet ruthless spy.